Hello everyone, my name is Joy. I am a medical laboratory scientist based in Lagos, and today, even though it's a Saturday, I'm on my way to work. Saturday office
Good
commute is
morning.
usually pleasurable as I am not
Good
worried about
morning.
traffic or clocking in late. It is also not a full work day because I close by 2 p.m. instead of 6 p.m., but it is always busy regardless. The moment I get to my office, set up my workstation, open up these blinds, and get myself a cup of tea, I face the work for the day. On Saturdays, when I am at work, I do not take lunch breaks. I just take something light at my desk while still working. And before you know it, one sample at a time, one test result after another, it's time to go home. On my way home today, I'm going to quickly branch the market to buy a few items
Good afternoon.
that I will be needing for my cooking this weekend. These are the things I was able to buy and their prices. After I warmed the soup that I had at home to eat eba, I slept the rest of the day. Good morning. Today, church service is online, not physical. This is one of the reasons why I do not like to work on Saturdays because it disrupts my weekend reading. Anyways, after the service, I quickly made this for breakfast before I will now get into my cooking. First, I am going to make oha soup. Somehow, I have most of the ingredients for this soup at home and I don't want them to waste. The only exceptions are the stockfish and smoked fish I bought yesterday. The smoked fish was meant for yam pottage, but I'm using it for the soup instead. I washed the stockfish and boiled it on its own for a bit before adding my smoked fish and the goat meat I was going to use to cook the soup. I let them cook together for a while so that all their flavors will blend together. Then I add my grounded fresh pepper and dry crayfish. Then I mix my ogiri in a bit of water before adding it to the soup. This helps to ensure that there are no lumps inside the soup. Then I stir it all together and allow it to cook for a few minutes. Somehow, I lost the footage where I was adding oil to this soup. Anyways, after that, I added salt. And I will not be using any seasoning cube in this soup because the ogiri is a native seasoning. Next is the achi, which I add gradually because I do not want to over thicken the soup. Then finally, I add my oha leaves. Personally, once I add the vegetable, I switch off the cooker and allow the natural heat of the soup cook the vegetable. This is my own way of ensuring the vegetable retains its nutrients. As the soup is ready, I am going to eat it with one small leftover eba that I have in the fridge. After a while, I went about the preparation for my stew, and because of the erratic nature of our power supply, the first thing I do is wash and blend my pepper and tomato mix. Next, I wash my fish thoroughly and season it mildly. I will not be frying or boiling this fish. I will add it directly to the stew. After seasoning it, I mix it in properly and allow it to marinate until I'm ready to add it into the stew. For my stew, I heat up some vegetable oil, add my tomato pepper mix, and let it simmer for a few minutes. After about 5 minutes, I stir it Then I add my fish. At this point, I add whatever seasoning and spices I want to add to the stew. I try as much as possible to stir it in without scattering the fish. Let it cook for a few minutes and voila, our fish stew is ready. I also boiled rice while cooking the stew. Then I dished some out for myself and a friend who came to visit. I took the head of the fish, which scattered by the way while I was trying to put it on my plate. I was able to get about 2 packs that I will use for lunch during the work week. Then I had my bath and retired for the night. Even though it was a partial work weekend, I still enjoyed it. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.